There's a lot happening on the HNT chart as the war between the buyers and sellers continue. Over the recent trading sessions, we have seen HNT spring test a critical inflection point on the charts, the previous all-time high set back in August. This, in confluence with several other important factors on the chart, may be indicating a test of the very recent all-time high is on the horizon. Let's also take a look at another very well-known cryptocurrency, Solana. The chart shares a lot of similarities with today's HNT chart and may be helpful in increasing our confidence when trying to determine which direction HNT may be heading next. Let's take a look in today's video. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here on the Crypto Compound channel. In today's video, we are going to be diagnosing this recent developments on the Helium HNT price chart. We'll be taking a look at the performance relative to its peers here, and we will also be comparing it to another very well-known, very well-performing cryptocurrency, Solana, and see what we can learn. Maybe it could give us some clues onto where HNT might be heading. So taking a look here at the recent 4-hour chart, I really like the way this chart is looking, how it is setting up. There are a few reasons for that. One being this, the most obvious one I think is this most recent spring test of the previous all-time high here around $26.73. You can see that we moved higher to the recent all-time highs around $31, $32. And then we had a reaction low here. We came, which didn't make it all the way to the inflection point of the previous all-time high or that support there. The buyer stepped in prior to that. And then we saw a small rally, and you can see that we actually came back and spring tested this level, and it didn't last long. The sellers lost very quickly, as you can tell by the wick through that support level. The buyer stepped in, and we ended up closing even, it looks just about at the same level as this previous reaction low. So this spring low is very bullish, and as you can see, we have bounced off of it, broke through this very slight trend line here, and now we're approaching $30 on the HNT price chart. Now, of course, that alone, that in itself is very good. A spring test of a critical support is always good, but we can also see down below on the MACD, we can see that there is a lot of bullish divergence here. This is very good. This is indicating seller exhaustion on the part of the sellers moving in here. And of course, that is backed up by the long wick. The sellers didn't last very long. This bullish divergence combined with the spring test at a critical inflection point on the chart is extremely bullish. That is what we like to see. Of course, this would all be great, but if it wasn't actually on this inflection point here, it wouldn't be as critical. This is very telling of the momentum in the markets and the sentiment around HNT right now. Now, if we look back in history of the HNT price chart, we can see that the seller exhaustion is actually rather common prior to rallies of HNT. If we go back to what I would consider the similar structure in HNT's previous life here in the single digits, we can see a similar pattern developing over the course of this structure. As you can see, it actually happens up here higher. So right now, we are in between the 100% retrace and the 1618 around this area on the new structure. However, in this previous structure, you could see what we did. We actually broke we went immediately over, straight past through the 1618, came back, retested, didn't make it to the 100% retrace level, and then tried to spring test these levels. And as you can see, we made consecutive higher lows here. And throughout that process, we did have some seller exhaustion down here. These coincide with this low and this higher low. You can see the sellers did become exhausted. Ultimately, all the way, we could actually draw this as well. This is another low here, another higher low. You can see they became very exhausted as time went on, and the price drove higher, and that is when we entered into our new range, which is all the way up there. But this is indicative of seller exhaustion in these critical levels here. Of course, this one isn't actually at the 100% retrace. It is higher, so it doesn't hold as much weight, but the bullish divergence on the MACD is there. So that is very interesting. And of course, if we zoom out more, and we go to the more the larger accumulation structure here, we can also see a good amount of bullish divergence on these lows here. There is a lot of seller exhaustion here. You can see this is probably the most pronounced on the entire chart, happening at these lows that came in at this very critical support level here. This was one of the most important zones on the chart. I've tried to highlight the two very important, very critical support and resistance lines here on the chart, and you could see that when we did reach towards here and we had reaction lows and then spring test lows, we kept on testing. The sellers kept on trying to move past, but the buyers stepped in every single time at this level, and you can see the seller exhaustion in this chart here. And then of course that was the bottoming of this structure, which in turn led to the rise here, now approaching the 1618 retrace on the Fibonacci level. If we look at the relative performance here of HNT, we were, I believe, in the 55 rank spot a few days ago when we were at all-time highs. We are back to the 59 rank. Not terrible. It is, HNT is doing very well. We will see where it goes moving forward, but I'm happy staying here, especially considering the tremendously good backdrop of news that we've been having. I would expect more in the future as new networks do take notice of the service that Helium can provide to them and their customers, and I would expect the 5G partnerships to begin to expand past Dish into the other larger major carriers. Now, if we take a look here at Solana, Solana is currently in price discovery mode. Next target, of course, here would be the 1618, but who knows where it goes. Super strong momentum, incredible crypto. There a lot of big money is moving into the Solana space, and a lot of people are expecting Solana to overtake Cardano as a crypto by market cap. We'll see how that happens in the recent days, but I wanted to take a look here at the Solana chart because it does have the exact same or very similar bullish divergence here on the chart at critical inflection points of the breakout structure. So if we're looking here and we compare this to the HNT chart here, these are both 4-hour charts. So you can see the reaction low and then the back test here on the HNT chart at the critical level. The critical level on this chart being the 100% retrace, and of course you can see the bullish divergence, the seller exhaustion. If we go to the Solana chart of this larger breakout structure, you can see that this price action is actually taking place around the golden pocket, which is a critical inflection point for any large breakout structure going higher. So you can see the reaction low goes right, just touches this golden pocket, and you can see the seller momentum down here, and then you could see there was a small recovery and then a spring test trying to make it back to see if the sellers can drive the price lower. The buyers stepped in prior to that happening, and you can see the spring higher. That is a very clear, almost direct price reaction off of this spring, and down below, of course, is the very similar looking bullish divergence, seller exhaustion we're seeing in HNT. I wanted to point that out because these patterns do occur across so many different cryptocurrencies, and they are very telling, especially when they are at critical inflection points. And as long as you're looking for them, you can identify them, and it will help make you make better decisions with regards to the direction that these currencies might move moving forward. Now, the other thing is, off of this spring, we can see such almost a direct, apart from this maybe 12 hours here, we can see such a direct price reaction off of this spring, which is right about where we are now. We are just springing off. The question is, what are we going to see from HNT moving forward? Are we going to see something similar to Solana, which would look pretty close to something like that, is basically what Solana did. But there's no telling. This is I would say this is likely. All of the signs here are pointing to a higher move. It'll be very interesting. Of course, the next big test level is going to be this 1618. Even once we make it past the 1618, I would be very surprised if we didn't retest it. If we go back here, you could see that after this breakout structure, HNT price did move much higher, almost to $10, and then retraced all the way back to this 1618 level here at $6.90. So that is very, I would say, I would almost say expected, especially after a move like that, if it does occur. So guys, let me know what you think. Let me know if you see anything else here in the charts. I'm just trying to let you guys know what I see, trying to point some of this stuff out to maybe help it make more sense. Let me know what you guys think. Any questions, please put them down below. Thank you for watching to the end. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. It will really help support the channel and help spread the word about Helium and the Helium community. Thank you all so much for being here. That is all I have for today's video. But just like that, this video is over, and I will see you next time.